Hello everyone. So just before the expansion series continues, we have gotten done with the character. Now we are into itemization, and now we need to talk about the aspects. So the aspects are abilities that you can see on your items, written with orange text, right? And they empower your abilities in some way, right? Or provide some defensive stuff. There are lots and lots of aspects. You can view them here. As you can see, I have 87% of it unlocked, right? And of course, yeah. So this is on sorcerer. I do have 87%. And there are levels to it. Let's just get into it a little bit. And there are also a lot of items here. So guys, every single legendary item will have an aspect on them. The uniques also have their own aspects, right? The uniques will have a unique aspect. Right? For example, Esus here, Thibaut here, right? And mythical items, which we'll get into later on, will also have their own aspects. And the thing is, the uniques and mythical uniques are not modifiable, right? They have their own aspect and you can't tamper with it, right? But the legendaries, as you can see, there is a word there, imprinted, right? You can mess with them, right? So for example, this could have something stupid, right? And I could go there and I could just imprint whatever I like, which we will get to later on. That's done by the occultist. We'll have another category of videos for crafting, and we will get to it in time. And as you can see, there are lots and lots of, and so the thing is, as you can see here guys, it says 29% increased damage to vulnerable enemies while you have a barrier, and it also shows you the range 15 to 30%. So I do not have the maximum amount of the aspect yet, right? I'm losing out on 1% of damage there. This one I have the perfect version, and this one I still am at a loss of 1%. So guys, I could increase my damage by a little bit if I get those. So this can take a long while. I have serious playtime in hardcore mode of this season, and as you can see, I am missing out on 1% on both of the ones that I use. In the chain lightning build, I think I have the gear here. As you can see, that's not the thing that I use. This one is perfect. This one is still missing. As you can see, I'm missing of 1% again. This one is perfect. So what I mean is, you can pour in tens if not hundreds of hours, and you could be still missing some aspects. So how do you obtain aspects? You obtain the aspects by finding the legendary item with the aspect on it, right? So for example guys, this is called, I believe, splintering energy, and this is the most important aspect of them all. It is the aspect that makes the most all-powered build in the game tick, right? The lightning spear sorcerer, we have a video on it. So the thing is, how do you get this? You get an item with this aspect on it, right? And you salvage it, and then the aspect becomes ready for use for you, right? So you get a garbage item, right? You get a garbage item with perfect splintering energy on it. You disenchant it, and now you have perfect splintering energy ready for use. And the numbers can sometimes be confusing. That's because if you are using an aspect on a 200 weapon, it will be amplified by 100%, so it will be double strength. And if you are doing it on an amulet, it will be amplified by 50%. So for example guys, this starlight, this is called starlight. Starlight is actually maxed out on 40. So why do I have 58.5? It's actually normally 39, and it gets amplified by 50% and goes up to 58.5, right? That's how it happens. So if I had imprinted this on a weapon, it would have been 78 primary resource, right? And the variable part is denoted with the blue text. The orange text is not changeable. So this works this way. You have to heal 20% of your life and you will be granted the resource. The amount of the resource is subject to change. The 20% heal is not subject to change, right? That's what you have to do in order to trigger, right? And as I said, there are this is barbarian, of course. Let me find some sorcerer stuff, right? So this is, for example, a generic one. It goes for everyone. Increase your crowd control ratios by 20%, and if the enemies get unstoppable, you deal increased damage, right? That's an awfully specific and of course very weak one. Can't really expect the enemies to be unstoppable, right? That doesn't work, but it's just, and there are a lot, right? As you can just see here, and the way you collect them is, as I said, you find it. As you can see, because I have played a lot, I have most of them maxed out. But for example, on the aspect of those, I am missing one level. Right? Funny thing is, it looks like it's perfect, right? I'm probably missing a fraction here. Yeah. For example, guys, take a look at this aspect of efficiency. I mean, this is not a good aspect, but I am just trying to show you that I'm missing. Casting a basic skill reduce the mana cost of your next core or mastery skill by 49%. So it could be 50% maxed out, but I haven't found it. So until I find it, if I want to use the aspect of efficiency, I'm going to lose out. So on aspects, it's also, the slot is important, right? You can't just be using all kinds of aspects wherever you want, right? There is defensive aspects, offensive aspects, resource, utility, and mobility aspects. And I believe amulets are the only slot that allow everything, right? Other than that, you have to pick. So for example, rings allow resource or mobility, weapons allow offensive, chests allow defensive and utility, that kind of thing, right? There are and you can have one aspect on each item. You can also imprint the aspects on rare items as well. Yeah, I mean, of course, this is a rather large subject, but I want to get the gist of it done. Is there anything that I would like to say? I mean, as I said, we will get to the subject of imprinting later on. And guys, in trading, there is a popular issue of selling aspects, because guys, some of the aspects are very much required to make your build functional. So for example, guys, you want to build a sorcerer, right? You went hard at it, but you haven't played the sorcerer and you don't have this aspect, the build will not work. Because, so this is an extreme example, right? But the thing is, this build is entirely based on this aspect. Without this aspect, the build does nothing. The lightning spear does nothing by itself. This build, this aspect is the thing that deals damage. But for example, there is a whirlwind barbarian build which gets very, very clunky without the aspect that reduces the cooldown of your war cries. And thing is, people, while playing, they find some garbage item, but with the right aspect on it, with a good roll. Because guys, as you can see, this has a variance of 4,412 to 7,059, right? More than 50% damage difference if you have a bad aspect and a good aspect. And people obviously want a good aspect. So while playing, if you catch that, a rare, valuable aspect, you just keep it and maybe you can sell it to someone. Right? Of course, these do not happen very often, but I had that problem with the barbarian. It's called bold chieftain's aspect, right? It reduces the cooldowns of your shouts when you do them. I couldn't find it for a very long time, and my build was very, very clunky because I was using my abilities going into cooldown and I was getting stuck until the cooldowns were back up. So there is that. Yeah, as I said, there are all kinds. There are, with every skill, associated with every skill, there is at least one, right? not all of them are useful, and you can see if you can salvage the item for an aspect. That's a very nice thing, guys. So let's say, guys, I'm selling some stuff, right? I went to this vendor and I'm selling some stuff, right? And if there is an aspect there that I could learn, right, by salvaging item, because if you sell it to the vendor, you don't learn it, right? You have to learn it by salvaging at the blacksmith. So there is an icon over there on the item that tells you, there is an aspect that you can learn from there, right? And if you sell it, you don't learn the aspect. So guys, generally, no matter how bad the aspect is, you just go and learn, just in case, because you are going to lose out on 50,000 silver, 50,000 gold or something. That's not the end of the world. And yeah, I am going uncharacteristically long for this series. Well, this is a complicated issue, but I think we can iron out whatever remains, whatever is uncovered here when we review the occultist. Then we will be discussing the imprinting. So, but basically, guys, you salvage at the blacksmith, you learn the aspects, and then you can imprint them on your items at the occultist. That's how it works. And I will see you in the next video.